Hey guys, this is the Samsung Galaxy S4, and a lot of people claim this to be the best Samsung phone, and ultimately a great phone. So, let's check this out. I'm going to install some of the apps that I use on my main phone, that being the iPhone 12 mini, on this phone, and we're going to see how it goes. Now, disclaimer before we start the video. I am currently using an iPhone, but I also like to use Android phones such as the Google Pixel 3 and 4a. So, let's get into this. This phone has a rather outdated version of Android. It's Android Marshmallow, I believe, or Android 5. If you have a Sprint or I think T-Mobile version of this phone, you can unlock the bootloader and do all kinds of modding, like custom ROMs. I've done that to S4s in the past. So this one is a Verizon one, so it's locked to Android 5, sadly, but this is still a relatively up-to-date version of Android, I guess, since this does get a lot of the newer apps. So, I'm going to download a couple different apps on this, and first I need to connect it to Wi-Fi. This phone had no troubles connecting to my 5 GHz Wi-Fi network, so that's one plus. So let's go into the Google Play Store and I'll sign in with my main Google account and we're going to download some apps to this device. Let's start with an app that I use for calling, Discord. So a lot of people use this and I personally just like this for calling and some messaging. It seems like I can get the most recent version of this, so that's good. Next, this is an app that I use for messaging, Snapchat. So while I don't really prefer this for messaging, this is the best way to message people on Android in my opinion. Okay, so I don't know what was going on there, but it seems like I found the Snapchat app. Next is one of my favorite social media platforms, Instagram. So I believe that a lot of people have this on their phones, and it looks like we can get an up-to-date version of this too. Alongside that, I also go on Twitter for tech news, and it looks like I can get Twitter on this device also. Those are my most used apps. For a launcher though, I want to install a custom launcher to make this device feel a bit better. So I'm going to install Nova Launcher. And what is... I think it's updating. Yes, I was correct. It seems like this actually was updating. So now it looks like we have a more up-to-date version of the Google Play Store. So, for a launcher, I'm going to install Nova Launcher. This actually makes the phone feel a bit faster in my opinion, and honestly, it makes just using older Android as a whole feel newer. Something that I've actually noticed is the battery on this specific device is pretty terrible. This will vary from device to device. This device is at 18% right now, and it's going down pretty fast. Now, this charges using micro USB. Personally, I absolutely hate micro USB, but it's an easily found charger. You can take the back cover off, and then you can hot swap your battery, SIM card, and micro SD card. So speaking of micro SD cards, you will probably want one. This device has 16 gigabytes of inbuilt storage, and while that's fine for some basic users, if you're going to take a lot of photos or videos, which I want you to keep in mind, the camera on this phone is okay. You're probably going to want to get an SD card. This takes micro SD cards, which are still easily found today. And this device actually uses an older SIM card. Although, if you have a newer, I believe it's called micro SIM card, you can get an adapter, which is what I've done multiple times in the past. As for this phone's speaker, it's honestly okay. It's mounted on the back, which I quite like, since most of the time, if you hold your phone like this, you're not gonna cover up the speaker like you do on some modern phones. Although there is no front-facing speakers, which personally, I don't mind for a phone this old, but if this was a newer phone, I would honestly really want some front-facing speakers. One thing that I find really annoying about Samsung's older TouchWiz OS is the sound effects that are included. So you can take a listen to them right now. So pretty much anytime you tap anything, it's going to make this annoying, like, water drop sound. So I think that you can actually mute these. There's two ways to do it. You can go to sound, turn it to vibrate, then it won't make any of those weird noises. But there's also a way in settings, I believe. More on the camera, it's not that bad. It's not going to get you the best shots, but it's okay. You can get some good shots on this sometimes, but overall, if you really need a phone with a good camera, I would not recommend getting the Galaxy S4. Another thing that I recommend you change out is this absolutely awful keyboard. I recommend you switch this out with Gboard, but any work better than whatever this is trying to be. So guys, I've been using this phone for a couple minutes, and it just turned off, and now it's just vibrating. Oh, now it's on. Anyways, for my usage, I can say this phone is not amazing to use. If it's between this and like an iPhone 4S, this would win. This is not really the best phone that you could have, but it's not bad. So if you have to get an S4, if this is your only phone, your only option, it will work. I just don't recommend it over something else more powerful. Anyways, for apps, Discord works perfectly. Snapchat works perfectly, while a bit laggy due to the animations. Instagram also works perfectly. Pretty much, if you have animations in an app, it will lag, but it's not going to hinder your use that much, it's just going to make it look a bit worse. So, yeah. Now, battery. That's probably your biggest issue if you have to use this phone. So, I did charge this phone up a bit, and I gotta say, batteries are easy to come by, but it's hard to find a good battery. For example, you can get an eBay battery, but it'll probably expand or just be bad quality. And that's the problem with buying parts for these old phones. They're just bad quality, really. Especially batteries, since they're usually cheaped out on. Anyways, if you can get a good battery, then you'll be fine with battery, since from what I remember, this phone had a decent battery for the time. Now, this phone's durability sucks. I'm just gonna say that straight up. The AMOLED display, I had a friend, actually, he sat on the phone, and it broke the screen. Not the glass itself, but the AMOLED. The inner glass, as some people like to call it. So, thank you for watching, and goodbye.